To the ramp demo day. We're gonna start in a few minutes. Before the start, let me just share with you a video that will bring us up to speed to what you are gonna listen to today.
A program that we've been working on since a year now to really equip scientists from the Alliance and CGIAR with the skills, the support, and the industry connections that they need. But now, for the Accelerate phase, we've worked with partners to identify priority areas for selection and have chosen the 9 highest market potential innovations to be part of this cohort.
We want to ensure that the solutions we are developing at the Alliance are in line with the market expectation, the market needs.
We're bringing in experts to give new perspectives from the industry and investors.
We've been working with them to shapen their focus and develop a clear roadmap for the next months ahead.
All towards their unique goalpost of what it means to scale via market pathways for their innovation.
Honor for us to participate at the Ramp Accelerate program.
To learn from different industry partners and stakeholders.
We get all the right advice that will allow us to convert our innovation into something that can last for the future.
Los líderes deben conectarse con este tipo de soluciones que se están presentando hoy acá en el CIAT porque les permite conocer qué está a la vanguardia en temas de ciencia y tecnología.
En ese sentido, va a permitir que esas innovaciones que estamos generando localmente lleguen a una escala muchísimo mayor, muchísimo más rápido.
Ensuring that solutions are uptake and become viable in the long run.
At the end of this, we want to have success stories of Alliance and CGIAR research where our innovations are not only published in scientific papers, which is fantastic, but they are also potentially in the market, delivering impact for beneficiaries that way.
And start building a community of scientists that are exploring new valorization pathways for their innovations in order to sustain and scale the impact of their research.
Porque si le damos sostenibilidad a ese uso de nuestra ciencia y nuestras innovaciones, podemos lograr también encontrar otros mecanismos que nos reviertan apoyo para que esos usuarios sigan promoviendo la investigación científica.
Todo esto nos va a permitir solucionar los grandes problemas que tenemos, problemas medioambientales que creo que ya todos nos están tocando. Entonces, súper importante, y este es un llamado que creo que le hacemos a las empresas, y es que se conecten con lo que está pasando no solamente en el CIAT, sino en el mundo de la ciencia y la tecnología.
Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone, and a very warm welcome to the Ramp Accelerate Demo Day. I hope you get a bit of an energy from the video we just showed. My name is Susanna Ercolani, and I will be the host for today. So I'm gonna guide you through this 2 hours event together, where we're gonna learn about the innovation that were part of this amazing program. Before we begin, I just want to do a few of housekeeping notes for all the online people following us. As you see, this is a Zoom setting, so we need a bit of your collaboration in terms of keeping the microphone off in case you are not on stage, but I invite you to turn your camera on so we really get a sense of being in a physical event together and really feel the energy of the room. I invite you to use everyone to use actually the chat to also interact with the teams throughout all the event. But today the floor is really to the innovation, to learn where they are, how they got to here, and learn what's ahead for them as well after this program. If you have any technical issue, please let us know in the chat as well. Me and my colleagues from the A4AP teams, we are here to help and support. And having this said, I really want to welcome you here because today is kind of a special day for the teams, for the end of this extraordinary journey. Has been months of hard work for the teams, of mentorship, of training, with the same goal of turning this agricultural science project into real world impact. Let me start sharing the screen and also give the floor to who's also behind and that taught these programs for the very beginning. Give me 1 second. Okay, you should be able to see it. Let me go full screen. Perfect. So as I was saying, we are today at the Ramp Accelerate Demo Day, and we're gonna be a couple of hours together. So you will hear, I will pass the floor shortly for institutional greetings, and after that, I'm gonna give you a bit of an overview of what we have been doing this past month together with the Ramp Journey. And then I will pass it to the jury to just have a brief introduction because they will be the ones also giving feedback and asking questions to the teams during the pitch session. You will hear about nine innovations. They've been training a lot also to deliver a good presentation. So if you have any feedback you want to share, there will be also the way to do it. And at the end, we're going to have some closing remarks and see what's next for the teams. Before I pass it to the leadership, I also want to interact a bit with you that are attending. So I invite you to write in the chat where you are connecting from, who are you, if you want to get in touch with the teams. This is really like a space where we want to showcase the innovation, but really create connections. So we are trying to recreate the in-person feeling also through this online event. So feel free to use the chat and tell us where you are connecting from. Having this said, I would say I will pass it to Giampiero Menza, which is the Senior Manager and Partnership and Innovative Finance, and is the person that created this program, wanted this program. So I think it's Giampiero, the floor is all yours.
Thanks, Susanna, and thanks for your energy. Good morning, everyone. Happy to welcome you all here today. I think you use such a big word. I think we have created something that the organization was looking for, aligned with the market expectation. So I believe we were just trying to ensure that we were working on something that could be meaningful for the organization and our scientists and the people we serve. Now, for me, it's a real pleasure, to welcome to this RAMP Research and Market Pathway Program. It's also important to acknowledge that as part of the team in the last months, we have had the close collaboration with a number of partners, including Kindling, that has been helping us in not only in finalizing the designing of this important program, but also its execution. But also we have a number of very important partners who I would like to thank, and also the importance of acknowledging the contribution from the Italian Minister of Foreign Affairs, that is always there to support the work that the Alliance of Bioversity International and CIAT does. Specifically when it comes to knowledge valorization and impact on the ground. Now, the Alliance, together with the broader CGIAR, produce an extraordinary pipeline of scientific innovation every year. Yet, one of the greatest challenges we face is not generating new knowledge. It's ensuring that this knowledge reaches farmers, markets, and society where it can create real impact in the long run. So usually the journey from lab to market, particularly in the agri-food sector, is anything but straightforward. So it requires much more than excellent science. We learn this. It requires an understanding of markets, business models, regulation, financing, partnership, consumer acceptance, farmer adoption, and ultimately trust. Now, innovation succeeds not only because it's technically superior or like a scientific good and validated, but also because it's affordable, it's adoptable, and scalable, and trusted by those who will use it. Now, this is precisely why RAMP was created. We wanted not a traditional accelerator. We wanted something to respond to scientists' needs and also organization needs, and ensure that scientists could really benefit from a program that could help them in their market validation, customer discovery, and also starting integrating some of these elements related to technology transfer and venture building. So throughout this program, we have tried to create an environment that is practical and flexible as possible. We have delivered 3 different stages of the program, because we basically started in 2024. So we have different moments where we have had the opportunity to interact with our scientists. But then the last phase was really the acceleration part, right? The 9 best teams being supported by a number of experts at different levels to really respond to their needs. So this is, at the end, not just an experiment for the innovations that we have been supporting, the final 9 innovations that were ultimately selected by the selection committee, but this was also an experiment for our institution. So we are learning how to integrate, the market thinking earlier in the process, in the research process, and how to design innovations along potential user industry partners, and how to build sustainable pathway for scaling impact beyond traditional grant funding, because that's also an element of ensuring sustainability of the innovation we are working on. So today's event is therefore not only about celebrating and the participant teams and looking at their progress. It's an opportunity for the institution, the Alliance, and CGIAR to understand how learnings like this can be further integrated in the research models and the work we do. So thank you for joining us, and hope you enjoy the presentation and the discussion ahead. And see you later.
Thank you very much, Giampiero, for your words. And as you were saying, this is also a message for the whole organization, and for doing so, we also involved the leadership of the organization. So it's my pleasure to welcome on stage Juan Lucas, the director of our organization. So the stage is yours.
Thank you, Susana, and hello, all colleagues. Let me tell you what happened yesterday. I was looking at today's calendar. It looked very busy, and I saw this RAMP demo day in my calendar, and I said, oh yes, every time there is an opportunity to catch up with the RAMP process to see how things are, I will try to save a bit of my time. So I am here. I am not here because I had role to open for opening remarks, etc. But I'm here genuinely because I'm just very keen in sponsoring and supporting this very important alliance-led process called RAMP. So what I would say, maybe just complementing or a bit what Giampiero mentioned, is that pathways to impact are not straight lines. There are no silver bullets, and they are sinuous. They are complex. They are very different depending on context, depending on what is the service, the technology, the knowledge we're trying to bring into market to ensure that we meet our great mandate of food and land systems transformation, and we do it in an ecosystem and in a world and in a landscape that has changed tremendously. If you look at where organizations such as ours were 10, 15 years ago, we had a much simpler job, but probably not as effective, of just coming up with solutions. And those solutions could be a new seed, a new technology, a new method to work in the soil to promote fertility, whatever. And then we kind of let those solutions go and we transferred them through very conventional means to usually national public research and extension systems. And we kind of said, okay, we did our job. But the world has changed. Pressure on the planet, on people, on climate, etc., has moved tremendously. The ways market works, the delivery of solutions to farming communities has shifted tremendously. The participation of private sector is very hegemonic, very critical. So we need to accommodate and we need to see how we better deliver knowledge. And this is what RAMP tries not what is doing, is making sure it helps researchers and partners and projects follow through and understand these very complex impact adoption pathways and see what is needed in terms of partnership, in terms of financing, in terms of defining markets in a much better manner, in terms of the costs, the competition space, etc., to make sure the likelihood of something that goes out of a lab that is the result of a research for development project lands in an impactful way through these different pathways and mechanisms. So it's a very exciting process. It's a great learning opportunity for many people outside of the organization, but also for our own researchers. And every time there is a demo day or there is an invitation around RAMP, I'm just try to prioritize my agenda and be part of it. So I'm here to listen. I'm here to hear about these exciting pitches and things that are moving forward and just catching up and remaining a big sponsor of this important effort. So I'm happy I prioritized this meeting because I did not know I had opening remarks, but I'm here and I delivered. Back to you, Susana.
Thank you very much, Juan Lucas, both for your time, your energy, your open remarks, and for the effort and for being always there for RAMP. I think all the team and the innovations appreciate that a lot. And finally, now our open remarks. I will also call on stage Marcela Quintero, the Associate Director General, Research Strategy and Innovation for the Alliance. I'm not sure if she can hear us. If not, we can go ahead and then we'll possibly have her for the closing remarks then. Let me go ahead and give you a bit of an introduction about Ramp, about what we have done so far, and then I will pass the floor also to the teams that I know I'm between you and the pitches, so I won't take too long. But just to give you an overview, as Giampiero was also saying, this is a program that it's been a while that we have been there working with the teams. It's an internal acceleration program that has been aimed to equip the scientists with the skills, with the support, and with the industry connections that were needed to translate their scientific discoveries into market-ready solutions. And the whole journey actually went through 3 phases, as you can see. So we started back in the autumn of 2024 with some introductory sessions. So this discovery phase where we actually wanted to introduce the scientists to these entrepreneurial concepts and new concept that it was not part of their everyday work and life. And after that, we went to the second phase, which was the launch phase, which was this intermediate training and presentation, where we actually started to work a bit closer to the teams. And this was throughout the winter 2025. And this led us to the Accelerate program, which is this cohort-based accelerator that we have been going through for the last 6 months, but also a bit longer, because we actually started selecting the teams in March last year, selected them and invited them for the introductory bootcamp in July, and then worked with them until December, where they delivered their final presentation. And today we kept in touch with the teams, and what you're gonna hear today is the result of all these phases of the program. But I also want to give you some numbers so that you are there to also understand the whole entity of the program as well. We started with 78 participants from 26 countries. I also see the international and audience of this event, so it's very much in line with how we have been also working. And then from these 78 participants, we went to a first selection of 54 participants during the launch program, to arrive to what is our cohort-based accelerator, where we work with 9 teams. We gave them support in training, in mentoring, more than 50 hours of curriculum. And to some of them, we also gave some grant funding, 35K to be spent in the development of their project. And all these months, mostly focusing on the accelerator program, we have been working on translating that innovation and finding pathways to market. We have been developing business model, understanding who the target customer could be. We had the team starting reaching out to external companies, external potential customers, and interacting with them. No, it's all about testing, drafting hypotheses, and then launching to market and see how the market responds. All the participants have built amazing skills, and I can say from the very beginning, when I saw them in the selection in last year, this time to what you're gonna hear today, they've been doing an impressive journey. But I want to show you also some pictures to give you an idea of the energy and what we have been doing. So first, we went in we hosted, we brought all together in a bootcamp in Cali in person. We delivered a training week with workshops and a lot of hands-on exercise to start delivering. And then we kicked off also our funding allocation, and that was, you can see here, the first showcase and pitch that they have done in Cali, in Palmyra campus. From there, we brought them on an online journey. The teams are spread all over the different continents. So the online was the way to go. But we had weekly trainings, weekly meetings on different business topics, from validation, business model, sales, pitching. So we've been working on them on a different topics. And then we had venture manager meetings, which means that every team was assigned to specific venture manager that has been there throughout the whole journey to have checkpoints. And then in December, we got this final deliverable presentation where we heard them pitching, but we also heard them on their financial planning, on their one-pager, the investor deck. So they've been producing a lot. We have been giving them a lot of inputs, and they've been responding greatly. And then from January to June, we got this post-acceleration mentoring where they've been matching with other external mentors. And then we went through some pitch rehearsal, and today, the final demo day. So just to recap, you're gonna hear about 9 admitting teams that have been part of the program. We have been given 250K of total funding to the teams. The total months of support from the Accelerate program to the post acceleration support has been 11 months. So you're gonna hear the result of that. And then they've been training for 55 hours, and each team has had the support of 16 mentoring hours and others of post-accelerator support. But we haven't done this alone, and as Giampiero was saying, this is also the occasion to welcome and to thank all the partners that have been doing this with us. So I will pass the floor to Chris, which has been there from the very beginning. So Chris, we want to hear a bit of your perspective as well, and yeah, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Susanna, and it's nice to see a younger version of myself before I had a kid and went grey. But no, so I know most people here, but a quick introduction. I'm Chris. I'm one of the founders of Kindling Ventures, and we particularly help researchers take the impact from their research and make that impact sustainable by using research valorization as the method. That's kind of the core of what we do. But I like to think we had 2 particular capabilities that we're very experienced at that made us, what I like to think is a match made in heaven for the Alliance and for Giampiero and his team, which is we're especially good at working in environments that maybe are new to using research valorization or maybe haven't done it systematically, and working with researchers who are exploring this for the first time. And we're particularly good at supporting a wide range of business models. A lot of what passes for research valorization goes down a very straightforward venture capital driven pathway. And that is one really valid pathway, and we support that. But there's actually a huge array of business models and different ways to get the kind of impact from the research and make it sustainable. I'm talking about social ventures, services, training, accreditation, and you're going to see a huge range of those in the RAMP program when you see their pitches later. So I like to think this was a particularly important alignment with what the researchers' goals were. But thinking about the program more broadly, we've run programs in lots of different countries. We do a lot in the UK, but Germany, Netherlands. I think this was actually, by numbers, our most successful program. It exceeded our expectations consistently in 2 key ways. Firstly, it was oversubscribed. So we actually ran extra sessions of the earlier stage of the program that Susanna showed because there was huge appetite, and we thought, no, we've got to make sure these people all get an opportunity, or as many as we can. And then the second part was in the RAMP Accelerate program. On a typical Accelerate program that we would work with, maybe around 40% of the cohort might kind of achieve a pilot or a sale or some funding. And that would generally be considered pretty good. In fact, that would be higher than average. But on this cohort, I would say basically 100% achieved that, which is remarkable. And so obviously that's a testament to the brilliant researchers. But I was asking myself more broadly, well, what were the ingredients that really enabled that success to happen? Because it is unusual. And I think it says something very positive about the Alliance and its researchers. And so I thought, well, one factor is, we worked with Jean-Pierre and his team, and they were absolutely brilliant. Megan was indefatigable in the comms, in the outreach, making sure everyone really could hear about this opportunity. But I think it was also there were elements of the research itself that are kind of wedded into the Alliance DNA that I think really make it particularly powerful for using valorization. And I think there's three elements there that I'd want to draw out. One is what I think is unusual is the focus on user and stakeholder focused research. These weren't solutions in search of a problem. All of the researchers we work with, they intimately understood the problem, had worked with the people on the ground, the stakeholders, the users, the beneficiaries from day one. And they weren't just designing random things in their head. They were already targeted from the start. The second element, which anyone who works in Ventureland will know, was the internationalization. It's all great, making a solution in one country, but moving to a different country, different culture, different laws, different ways of working, usually everything fails. It takes ages to work it out. But as you will see later, so many of the ventures here just started out operating in multiple geographies, which is incredible. And I think that's partly because the Alliance works internationally from the start, and the teams themselves had an international composition to them that just made this particularly difficult challenge. They made it look easy. The final part, though, I think is, Jean-Pierre, I think, spoke to this really well, and so did John Lucas. It's the fact that a lot of the Alliance research at its heart is about creating practical solutions to real problems, farmers' problems, making sure food is sustainable and enough and abundant. And I think that kind of solution mindset meant that when it's coupled with great research, it was really easy to work with the researchers and they'd be open to be like, yeah, let's try this different pathway to see if that can make the solution better, it can scale better, it can make it sustainable. So for us, this was an absolutely wonderful program, a huge privilege to work on, and I think it's just a testament to the potential that exists within the Alliance. So on that note, I'll say thank you very much, everyone. It was wonderful, and over to Susanna.
Thank you, Chris, for your words, and it's been a great journey. And yeah, I personally want to thank you and the whole team to always be there for the innovations for us and to bring this project to life. But now, going to the pitch session, which is what we are all looking forward. All the innovations will have 5 minutes to pitch. You will hear 3 innovations in a row, and then we will have 10 minutes of Q&A by the jury members for each batch. And all the attendees can also give written feedback that will be shared with the teams afterwards. And you can also leave your contact in the forum if you wish to be connected to the pitching teams. We will share now in the chat a link, and you will always find also a QR code where you can find the form to submit your written feedback to the teams. Now, I will ask to the jury for a round of quick introductions so that they will be the ones asking questions and giving feedback to our cohort. So I will ask Jacob, Sharif, Frida, Romano, and Mandla to keep it short, 1 minute. Let us know who you are so that the teams and the audience know who is receiving feedback, or the teams are receiving feedback from. So we'll call on stage Jacob van Etten.
Yes, hi, Susanna.
Hi, Jacob.
Hi, most people, I think, know me. My name is Jacob van Etten. I work as the Director for Digital Inclusion in the Alliance, and I'm talking to you from Seville, where I am now. So, yeah, nice to hear from and very exciting to be part of this.
Great. Thank you, Jacob. I guess you're in a very warm place now.
Very cool here compared to the north of Europe. Huh? So yeah. I'm very used to it. Yeah.
Sheriff Keseba. I'm not sure if he's able to be here. But in the meantime, that we check if Sharif is able to introduce himself, I will pass it to Frida.
Everyone, lovely to see most of you again, I would say. Also one of the co-founders of Kindling Ventures. And as Chris has already said, it's been a fantastic journey and delight working with the Alliance researchers on exploring new impact pathways for the research and also then helping them build ventures that are not only sustainable, but also deploy kind of new and innovative models to help them scale research impact and bring the solutions to market. And obviously, today is a big day. They've been on a long journey, and I can't wait to see how far they've come and also hear more about their plans ahead.
Thank you, Frida. And going on with Hermano de Vivo, which was also there in the program since the beginning.
Yes, hello everybody. It's so nice to be with you today and to see all the teams once again. So I have 30 years of experience in the life science sectors, and therefore I'm bringing probably that business knowledge that was mentioned both by Giampiero and Juan Lucas at the beginning. So I think, I will be happy to make sure that our teams have a very clear message for the business enterprises outside the research center. So thank you again.
Thank you, Romano. And last but not least, we also have Mandlan Como as one of our partners of the program with Partner in Food Solutions.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Susanna. My name is Mandlan Como. I'm joining you all from Minneapolis, Minnesota in the US. I'm the CEO of Partners in Food Solutions. I'm very passionate about, creating pathways for technology to get into the hands of people that need it. In my current job, I do that by connecting global food companies with entrepreneurs on the African continent for expertise and technology transfer. So I'm really excited about this because part of our success depends on successful farmers in the field, and a lot of the solutions that are going to be displayed here are really trying to address that and making farmers successful, more resilient, and able to deliver. So excited to be here and looking forward to connect with you all.
Thank you very much, Mandla, and thanks to all the jury members for their time. Before we switch to the teams, I saw that Marcela Quintero also joined us. So Marcela, if you're able to hear us and you want to give your opening remark before we start with the pitching session, I think this is a great moment to do that.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and apologies for the delay. I'm in the London Climate Week. We were a little bit late wrapping another conversation and meeting here, but I'm very pleased I managed to connect. And I'm also pleased to see this next iteration of RAMP, who has been an iterative process in scouting innovations that have demand and then also have a great potential to be uptaken by others, which is very important if we think about the sustainability of our innovations. So I'm looking forward to listen to the different pitches that we are going to be listening to around these innovations today. So I'm going to stay here and looking forward to the conversations on the pitches. Over to you.
Great. Thank you for connecting. And I think without further ado, I think we can really start with the teams. As I said, this is the order. You're gonna hear 3 different batches of teams. You're gonna learn from different projects from cacao. We're actually starting. I will not spoiler anything. I will actually pass the word directly to Andrew Meter, which is gonna start our breaking the ice with the presentation. Just for all the attendees, this is the QR code that you can scan while Andrew gets ready to share his screen. I invite you to to scan the QR code. This is gonna bring you to a form where you can actually give feedback to the teams. So I invite you to save this, and in the chat you should also find the link so that you can both use the link or scan the QR code to give feedback to the teams. Now, Andrew, are you ready?
Hi, yes. Hi, Susanna. Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
Great.
Thanks.
Then I'll stop sharing so that you can go ahead with the slides.
Perfect.
Thanks for breaking the ice. Where are you connecting from?
France, home-based.
Okay, great.
Let me
You're
share.
gonna
But
hear
yeah, thank you. It's a pleasure to be presenting here and be the first one to kickstart this session. So let me get ready here. Sorry, 1 second.
Yes. All the teams will be given 5 minutes. So we are strict with that timing. Andrew, whatever you want.
Let's go. So hi, everyone. I'm Andrew Meter, a research specialist at the Cacao of Excellence program of the Alliance of Bioversity International in CIAT. And so Cacao of Excellence focuses on developing the knowledge and tools needed to make cacao quality and diversity real drivers of value in the sector and of better livelihoods for producers. And one of the key gaps that we seek to address is the lack of a trusted and a shared system to evaluate, recognize, and communicate quality in the cacao sector. Today, cacao quality is often described differently from one actor to another. And without a common way to evaluate and communicate quality, it becomes difficult to improve it, to compare results, or to reward producers for excellence. And this affects everyone involved in the production and trade of cacao, from cacao producers to traders, chocolate makers, and eventually consumers. So how do we solve this? First, by creating a common language and standardized methods. And Cacao of Excellence has already developed these through the Guide for the Assessment of Cacao Quality and Flavor. But standards alone are not enough. They need trained people applying them. And so the next step for COEX is to build a global community of trained professionals that are recognized for their skills and knowledge. COEX is launching the Cacao of Excellence Training and Certification Program, covering both cacao processing and sensory evaluation. We propose various training modules designed for different levels, stakeholder groups, and objectives. For cacao producers and stakeholders working closely with producers, we propose a COEX Origins training that connect post-harvest processes with organoleptic quality through theory and tasting. And for professionals that seek to deepen expertise and sensory evaluation, we provide advanced training and pathways to official certification by Cacao of Excellence. For this, the journey starts with an intensive 4-day core training, combining theory and a lot of tasting with over 60 cacao mass samples tasted covering the whole COEX flavor wheel. And completing the core training leads to recognition as a COEX trained taster. For many participants, this credential provides the skills, it provides the knowledge and confidence and professional recognition that they're looking for. COEX certification is designed for professionals who wish to demonstrate the highest level of competence in cacao sensory evaluation. And candidates undertake further preparation before sitting a rigorous final examination. And we support that journey through online modules, calibration exercises, tasting sessions, and continuous learning. Training is only the beginning. Participants join a growing community of practice with webinars, online community tasting sessions, peer exchanges, and periodic recertification. The goal is not simply to award certificates, but to build a trusted international network, continuously improving together. Now, the need is clear. Governments, companies, cooperatives, chocolate makers, and quality specialists are all asking for trusted training and certification based on a shared methodology. And we've already piloted the program across different stakeholder groups and delivery models. Companies such as CGIAR have used it to strengthen the skills of their internal sensory panels, giving staff greater confidence in communicating about quality and reinforcing their credibility with clients. We also organize open training sessions like our pilot in Brazil, So bringing together participants with diverse backgrounds, objectives, and different levels of experience, but a shared interest in cacao quality and flavor assessment. And finally, we work with partner organizations to build capacity at origin. Together with Fairtrade CLAC, for instance, we've trained cooperative representatives and producers in Ecuador, and this model could equally be implemented with governments or development agencies that seek to empower producers through quality. The trainings are delivered by the Cacao of Excellence team together with internationally recognized experts from our technical committee and partner network. We're building a global community of cacao professionals committed to excellence and quality assessment, sharing a common language, continually developing their expertise, and earning trusted recognition from their peers. If you'd like to join us through one of our upcoming trainings or a program tailored to your organization, we'd be delighted to discuss the possibilities with you. And I thank you very much for your time and hope to get in touch soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Perfect timing and great pitch. Perfect. We are not passing directly to the jury, but we're going to listen to other two teams before. So this was the time of Cacao of Excellence with Andrew and all about building trust and value around cacao quality. But now we're switching to Grecia from Aquasmart, modular irrigation. Grecia, are you here? Okay, perfect. Andrew, I ask you kindly to stop sharing your screen so that we pass it to Grecia. Perfect. Grecia, we can see your screen. If you can go on the presentation mode, as we are seeing it only half of the screen with the notes.
You can see my screen?
Yes, but it's not totally in presentation mode, as we can also see the notes. Yes. I think if you go on the right bottom corner, you can click on the presentation.
Here?
No, bottom, or even, yeah, from beginning. I think if you click on the top right below where file is written, there's from beginning. If you click on that, you should be able to go on presentation mode.
The beginning, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, it's the same as before, but
okay, perhaps let me try this. Now?
yes, perfect.
Okay,
Good to
okay.
go.
I'm sorry for the issue.
Perfect.
I'm sorry,
Yes,
but
5 minutes for you as well.
Okay.
Start when you want. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. My name is Grecia Ramos, and today I would like to talk about Aquasmart, a simple tool designed to help farmers to take better decisions about watering their crops. Unfortunately, water scarcity and limited climate information continue to threaten agriculture, and in 2024, drought caused the loss of 65,000 tons of grain, affected more than 80,000 families, and generated $13.5 million in economic losses. To help farmers overcome these challenges, we created Aquasmart, a solution that transformed complex agroclimatic data into simple watering guidance. Through LoRaWAN sensors connected to Aquasmart, it collects and analyzes agroclimatic data, helping farmers schedule irrigation in a simple and semi-automated way to support optimal crop growth. To use the app, farmers just need to select the date, as we can see in the video, and then they can choose the irrigation time. And finally, set the watering duration. Okay. Beyond improving watering decisions, Aquasmart also helps farmers address expensive and scarce labor. In addition, it reduces irrigation management time by up to 60% and save up to 10% of the water used for irrigation. But beyond the technology itself, what really matters is how it performs in the field. So we conducted our first demo in 2024 with more than 20 stakeholders, including farmers, NGOs, and MFIs. As a result, the demo generated strong interest in climate-smart water and decision support. So our next step is to launch a second pilot in July 2026 in collaboration with ENCA, which is an agronomy school. So we will test the app in a real commercial vegetable production system with active users such as students, professors, technicians, and farmers. Regarding farmer adoption pathway, first, they will access through trusted partners like NGOs and others. Second, we will use demonstration plots so farmers can validate how the app works in the field. Once interested, they can acquire the app and sensors with the option to access financing through MFIs. Then we will engage farmers by providing personalized support from installation to daily use, so they can confidently adopt the technology. And finally, adoption will grow naturally as farmers recommend the app to others. Now let's take a look at our main business model, premium as a service or software as a service. With 3 subscription packages, all of them include access to real climate data and remote irrigation control. However, as we can see in the image, the Pro and Premium plans offer additional features such as managing multiple plots and receiving unlimited irrigation alerts. While there are many solutions on the market, such as drop control of field climate, most rely on complex dashboards and graphs that can be difficult for farmers to understand. However, Aquasmart is totally different. It's a more affordable solution that provides simple and practical watering guidance. Behind Aquasmart, there is a multidisciplinary team with expertise in digital agriculture, environmental sciences, and systems engineering, committed to develop innovative solutions that improve productivity and resilience for farmers. Finally, remember that Aquasmart is more than an app. It's a powerful tool, so you can discover and learn more about it by scanning the QR code or contact us directly by email. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Grecia. Amazing pitch, great solution, and great improvements. So congrats. We now pass from automated irrigation systems to actually learn about coffee yield estimation with Croppy. So I invite Christian Ban on stage. I see he's already ready. Perfect. Christian, how are you?
Yeah, good. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great. Dan, floor is yours. You can start with your pitch.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Christian Bonn, and I'm here to tell you how with Croppy and AI-enhanced yield estimation, we want to reduce supply-side risks for both farmers and enterprises. Did you know that in the 21st century, the global coffee sector bases harvest forecasts and financial decisions on intuition and manual counting? This is despite increasing climate uncertainty, which increases the fluctuation of yields and increases the unreliability of yield estimations. People use manual counts, going through the field, counting cherries one by one all day long to estimate how much is on the tree at a given moment. Else, you can use historical data, which is often incomplete, insufficient, and unreliable for future projections. The solution we offer is an AI assistant for yield estimation. We replace the most tedious part of the yield estimation, the manual counts, with an AI interpretation of images. We offer scientifically proven accuracy and reproducible results. On top, we can link it to geolocation data management for more efficient services, especially in a time where traceability and origin, down to origin, becomes ever more relevant for the entire sector. The proven advantages and current impact that we are able to show is that our solution is 50% faster and thereby at a lower cost than conventional yield estimates. This is according to our pilot users who tried the application in the field. We can show that we can have better inclusion of women in intra-household decision-making through the use of CROPI. And finally, we can improve traceability for the entire sector, including for commercial and financial planning. Side benefits is that our app is easy to transfer and does not require trained personnel. It delivers georeference information and provides digital evidence for your sourcing claims. So far, we have worked to put our app onto two feet. We started with the user experience, confirmed that it delivers the precision needed and works for the most important users, the technicians and farmers in the field. Currently, we're working with demanding companies and organizations to confirm the value for our clients. We're starting with Nestlé, who are monitoring their R&D operations globally for coffee breeding using our app. In Colombia, we're working with a leading coffee research organization to confirm the applicability of coffee to monitor the upcoming national harvest in Colombia. And we have worked with cooperatives and universities in the field. This puts us on a good track to confirm that we are ready for strategic scaling for demanding operations from farmer to company to national level. Compared to our competitors, we stand out through our specialization in coffee and the use of accessible technology. There are other approaches, but they rarely focus on understanding the coffee sector and understanding coffee producers and their plants. Some tend to use advanced technology, specialized software integration, inaccessible drones or satellite data. We are using simple phones and use them to scale our solution to everyone in the field. We offer different packages to our users, starting with a free trial of the CROPI app in the App Store, ready to use and best for individual users. For cooperatives, we're aiming to offer better data management through an exclusive channel and user management. Finally, we see a large need for yield estimates in academic and applied research operations, where we offer specialized support through adaptation of the app and support to training and reporting. And finally, we're open for consultancy services, especially through API integration and consulting for specific use cases. Our success was only possible through our interdisciplinary team. Myself, I'm an economist, but we're working with systems agronomists, coffee data scientists, and data specialists. We have the capacity to collaborate with through strategic partnerships such as Producers Direct, Technicafe, and Molimisa across several regions of the globe. So we are asking you to be part of the digital transformation in the coffee sector. We're looking especially for cooperatives and companies in the sector to pilot CROPI with your producers. The way it works, download the app, have somebody in your field to try it out, and approach us and discuss with us how we can together reduce the sourcing risks in your value chain. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christian. Great pitch, and thank you for walking us through this coffee yield estimation world. Now it's time. With this, we conclude the first batch of pitches. Congrats, everyone. So I will now give the floor to the jury members. We have around 10 minutes. I will keep the timer and remind you when the time is out. And you can ask questions to both of the three innovations. So there you go. I'm sharing the screen to also allow the audience to scan the QR code in case you want to give feedback to the teams. And these feedbacks, of course, will be passed to all the innovators. So Jury, the floor is yours. Go for the Q&A.
Thanks, Susanna. I want to check. Do you want us to ask questions to all three all at once, or how do you want us to do this?
Yeah, we can go on random orders, and also invite the other team members if they want to, like, even if you're not pitching, but someone else in the team want to answer, we can also do that. So the importance is that at the beginning of the question, you said to whom you want to ask it.
Okay. No, fantastic. I think, yeah, this is really exciting. I think there is massive progress from the first time I interacted with some of these innovations. My first question is to, the Cacao of Excellence team. I really like that you've looked at who the end market is. You're trying to transform the entire industry by giving this tool. Where are you seeing the most interest? Is it from people who are working out in the field with the origin side, or are you seeing more interest in the buyers? Because as you know, cacao is really controlled by who buys it. I'd love to know the level of interest across those three market segments that you highlighted. And then for the Aqua Smart team, my question is around the package. So you mentioned some numbers there. I think it was $120 and $150. Does that package come with the sensors? And the second question is, who are you partnering with around the manufacturing of the hardware, which must then go with this, because it needs to operate in a global stage. And how are you making sure that you'll be able to deliver to someone in Uzbekistan as much as you are delivering to someone in South Africa and someone in Brazil? I just want to get a bit of an understanding of that. And then I'll stop there.
Maybe I can go next. So the first question, and by the way, fantastic presentations, all three teams. But the first question would be for Cacao of Excellence, Andrew. Is this a sustaining business or a donor-funded program? So who pays for certification? How often, and what's the path to financial independence? Then
okay, Romano, wait. Let me just give the floor to Andrew to go ahead and answer these first questions, and then we can go ahead with the next ones.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you to both of you for your questions. So on the first one, in terms of the interest right now in different end markets or end users, so on one side we have interest from companies that have already their own panel. Also at the national level, within countries, they have government bodies that would have their own national panel of tasters. And they're interested in sort of private trainings, especially these core training, the advanced training in sensory evaluation. And then in terms of individuals, it's quite diverse, but in general, it's really people that are working with actual cacao. And that's really the difference of what we propose today. There is the International Cacao and Chocolate Tasting Institute that proposes trainings and some certificates at certain levels, but not a certification in the same way that, for instance, the Q graders exist in cacao with the Q grading system and certification. But that is very focused on chocolates rather than cacao. And what is missing today is this cacao-focused, raw product-focused training and understanding of how do we measure quality, how do we understand the quality of actual cacao. So it's a mix of stakeholders within origin, producers themselves, producer cooperatives, and it's working with them. And I see Julien has his hand raised.
Julien?
Yes, and if I may add to complete the answer of Andrew, we clearly see at the moment the highest demand in producers organizations. Unfortunately, they are the ones who have the less means to pay for it. But we know that the shift of the market, like it happened for coffee, will not happen if industry does not embrace it as well. So the most demands come at the moment from the producing the producers and producing organizations. We're pushing for the industry to support this shift in vision.
Perfect. Thank you, Julian. I will ask the jury members to go ahead to ask questions also to Croppy and Aquasmart. So whoever wants.
Maybe with two questions from my side. On the one hand, for Aquasmart, you mentioned a pilot coming up with Enka, and I was wondering what you're planning to test there in terms of key assumptions, features, and functionalities, and how do you expect, or what information you're looking for that will help you take the next steps for Aquasmart. And for Croppy, you have very impressive traction, and I thought it was very clear that deep understanding of producers and actual users. And I'm now wondering, with the different packages at very different price points that you've mentioned, which one do you expect to be the ones that are like the ones you will sell most of in the first 3 to 6 months?
Thank you, Frida. Grecia, you want to address the question first?
The question from Frida or the first one question?
You can go ahead with both.
Okay, thank you. Okay, well, regarding the cost of the packages, it includes just the annual use or monthly use, but it's important to note that farmers need to invest or have a first investment which include the sensors, all the support from the team, etc. But regarding the packages, it's just to use the app. Second, yes, we have a partner which provides the sensors. We in 2024 we tried to make a demo with CUNORI, which is a university. So in this demo we test with basic materials the Aquasmart, the app. But in this year we expect to test the app with another materials or more advanced materials that this supplier give us. So it's important to know that we try to test different technologies, basic and more advanced technologies. And regarding
Thank you,
Frida's
Grecia. I
question.
asked you if you can wrap it up, so we gave space also to Christian. Okay, Christian.
Yeah, thank you, Frida, for the question. So from our perspective, we're looking at 2 conversations for the cooperatives and 2 conversations regarding the project support. And of course, financially, the project support is much more appealing for us. So the working with cooperatives for us is strategic in order to develop new use cases. Because very often, so far, yield estimation hasn't been scalable. So we need to develop business cases that build on the scalability. There are some early cases where cooperatives have to respond to emissions reductions, part of the emissions reduction certification. And these are our pilot users. But there are also emissions reduction projects that want to develop these business cases. So both are equally important for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. I'm looking at the time. We have 40 seconds for a quick question, quick answer. If
Maybe again to Christian. Have you tested the actual harvest in seasons and regions that the model was not trained on?
Quick answer.
No, that is a challenge. We only tested within projects and confirmed that we have an R-square of 0.9 with an acceptable error. But out of our training population, it is hard to confirm. There are counterfactual or manual counts which come with a ton of problems. So yeah, we have proof that we are strong, but of course this is an important question that we are currently also testing with Cini Cafe in Colombia.
Perfect. Thank you, Christian. I have to stop it here because we are at time. Thank you very much for the pitching teams and for the jury members. I invite you to write down both in the form and in the file for the jury members any feedback you have or any other question you have for the teams, and we'll make sure to pass it to the teams. We are now going for batch 2. We are keeping the energy high. We are now listening to other 3 innovations. We are starting with the climate resilience platform, and we have TUI. Again, for all the attendees, you have the QR code to give feedback. So I'll stop sharing. So TUI, you can start sharing your screen, and we are ready to hear from you. 5 minutes for you as well. So whenever you are ready, we can see your screen.
Yep. Okay, great.
Perfect. There you go.
Okay. Hi everyone, I'm Linh Nguyễn from Digital Inclusion Lever, and today I'm very excited to introduce the Climate Resilient Platform, or CIP in short, which have turned climate insights into adaptation action. So the climate change already impact our culture. Every year, 80 billion of total agriculture output is at risk, and by 2030, yield for key crop are projected to drop significantly. Then the real challenge is significant gap of 10 to 15 years between scientific evidence and farmer adoption level. But here is the opportunity. Every $1 you invested today in adaptation saved you $7 avoided climate loss in future. So your company may be already aware of this opportunity to save future loss and have budget to invest in adaptation, but you lack the decision-ready information to release the budget. That's the big problem we set out to solve for our client when existing tools just stop at climate data. And from that big question, we work closer with clients to pinpoint 4 key questions on where our future climate risk, where adaptation provide the most protection, and how to prioritize investment and what's the return on investment. Then we come up with CRP to help deal with that question to provide climate risk, future yield impact, and practice recommendation. So here is a quick overview of the user journey in CRP, from understanding climate risk to making decisions. And this is where our client finds CRP really powerful. These 3 numbers here tell you the whole story. What inaction can cost you, what adaptation protects, and what the net return is. So here is also another important insight. The same practice can deliver different outcomes across regions. They can protect you in one region or create opportunity in another region. What makes CRP stand out? First, it's credible and trusted, as backed by CGIAR. And secondly, it creates a shared view across different teams. And third, it's action-oriented, which help companies build a business case to secure adaptation investment. And CRP has evolved from a climate assessment study with PepsiCo into an interactive platform supported by leading industry partners. Now we are entering the next phase to launch member platform and add coffee and cocoa this year, and in the next 2 years to increase the member pilot value to onboard more members. So let's explore how the company are using CRP. On the left, our members, for example, PepsiCo, have been using it to build a business case to secure 200 million investment in North America corn, and also help PepsiCo Thailand team to secure $3 million with co-fund from GIZ. And CRP also informed 5-year sourcing strategy to unlock 4 million capex investment in Mexico potatoes. And on the right, our sponsor, Bonsucro and Better Cotton, are embedding CRP insights into their toolkit to guide their member producers. So how to get started with us? First, our sponsorship model is for organizations who aim to advance sector-wide adaptation. You can fund your interested crop country to get it in CRP with price start from 30K per crop geography. And second, we offer membership for team who are using it more operationally to get analysis tailored to your supply chain and other dedicated support to your strategic planning. Price are ranging from 55K per crop geography and half if no direct modeling required. So why to partner with us? We combine CGIAR agri-climatology expert with a dedicated product team that help us have proven track record with leading agribusiness, and we are motivated to make real impact to the whole food supply chain. So are you ready to accelerate your climate resilient journey? If yes, let's explore our platform and book a demo with us. If you have any question, feel free to contact our team through the email on the screen. Thank you for your attention, and we welcome any question. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Lee, for your pitch. Great timing and great delivery. And it's now turn. I'll now ask you to stop sharing your screen because we are now directly switching to My Farm 3. So I ask Fidel to get ready and start sharing his screen very on time. So we're gonna learn about tree restoration. You're good to go like this. So whenever you're ready, you can start.
Perfect. Can you hear me, right?
Yes.
Great. All right, let's go. Hi, everyone. My name is Fidel. I'm happy to describe my trees. We're working with empowered communities so they can lead and drive forest landscape restoration at scale. My Farm Trees helps organizations manage and verify the complete restoration journey, providing a measurable impact from seed collection and nursery production to tree planting and digital payments. It is really well known that local communities are the key partners to be able to deliver restoration at scale. But as a society, we are failing them. They need solutions, they need training, empowerment, and sharing benefits meaningfully. Some of the challenges that persist in forest landscape restoration are, for example, the seed systems, which remain poor and invisible since communities are not meaningfully integrated in them. As a result, there's not enough plant material, the quality is low, and there's low survival, especially in the first years. There's also limited tools and solutions for monitoring and reporting to be able to report what has been implemented where. And also in the investments parts, we hear often that they're very inefficient. The money doesn't flow, it doesn't reach the local communities, it doesn't reach the last miles. So what we provide as a solution with My Farm Trees is a verifying and rewarding community-driven impact that combines knowledge, transparency, innovation, quality, and local empowerment. In practice, it's a ground monitor and reporting and verification system that takes into consideration 3 control points: seed collection, linked to nurseries, and linked to planted and growing trees. It has embedded a rewarding system that values more, for example, native species and livelihoods providing species, depending on the project and the restoration goals of each project. And this has been co-developed and implemented together with local communities in Kenya and Cameroon the last years. Given these last years and the finalization of the pilot phase just a month ago, we're offering a proven system as a result from that. In practice, it's a combination of mobile applications and dashboards in which it's possible for users to collect information of where seeds are being collected, how many seeds from which species, be able to connect that to the nursery production and delivery, where are the nurseries, what is the network nurseries, and then in turn, where are trees growing. As a result, data that is generated can inform the impact of the project, but also improvements over time. The impact so far from the implementation in Kenya and Cameroon, on the socioeconomic perspective, more than 9,000 beneficiaries have been reported, with more than $350,000 in digital payments directly to the farmers through mobile wallets. Environmentally, more than 4,000 hectares put under restoration, more than 400,000 trees established, more than 60 species used in both countries. And in a systems way, there's an operational system that has enabled a strong network of stakeholders across the Global South. And from people's perspective, it's also very valuable for us to know how people and social groups that before have been excluded from forest restoration have been meaningfully included in the work of our farm trees. And then also from the payments, what people have done with that, for example, covering school fees, renovation of houses, local entrepreneurship, local businesses, and even open up nurseries and participate in restoration more. So we're expanding across Africa, Southeast Asia, and Latin America with a growing amount of projects and a growing amount of countries. And we're onboarding interesting projects that would like to use to make use of the tools and the technical expertise behind it. For example, the Kilimanjaro project in Tanzania from the carbon market that works with local communities to restore forest landscape restoration there, to restore forest there. Or Sangha Bumi Lestari, an NGO in Indonesia that works with conservation management of forests, but also on economic development, or Selva in Colombia that has a specific focus on biodiversity with a number of stakeholders and practitioners there. If you are coming from an organization, institution, or company that works in this area in forest restoration, and you would like to make use of the tools and our technical expertise, we're offering flexible packages and pricing for every need. This includes onboarding, piloting, licensing, technical support, the need that you need and that you require, and co-development to reward system and digital payments. This is useful across different market types, public, private, and restoration types, agroforestry, agroecology, or others. We're also welcoming investments and donations at any ticket size. Welcome that as well. Behind my trees, there is a transdisciplinary expert team based globally that combines forest genetics, area observation, digital innovation, food and nutrition, gender and social inclusion, and economic sustainability. So if you're ready to explore your opportunities, reach out to us. You can scan that, read more about my farm trees, and book a meeting. I'm happy to discuss further. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Fidel, for your pitch. I hope all could listen to you very well. And then I'm asking now you to, perfect. So for the next and last pitch of this second batch, I will be sharing my screen because this is a pre-recorded video pitch, as some part of the team couldn't be here. But for the Q&A, we will have part of them answering lively. So I'm introducing Tumani AI, and we're gonna learn about crop health detection and management.
Okay, hi everyone, my name is Juan Mora. I'm a Senior Research Associate at the Phenomics Platform at CIAT, and today we're going to talk about our innovation Tumani AI, which is an AI-powered system for crop health detection and management. So as many of you know, bananas and beans are one of the most important crops in terms of volume trade and production, where they represent billion-dollar industries in countries like Ecuador and Guatemala, and they are also highly consumed across many developing countries around the world. Now, the problem is that both of these crops are highly affected by several pests and diseases. So just an example, Fusarium TR4 has caused over 400 million losses in bananas across Southeast Asia, as well as 1 in every 10 banana farmers in northern Peru has lost their crops because of this disease. Now, the main problem isn't the crops per se, but actually the problem of detecting them through traditional methods. So this normally relies on field scouting, which in this case relies on a trained technician going through the field and walking through very tough climate conditions. And also the number of experts is highly limited. So for example, a trained expert can only cover up to 6 hectares per day. So to combat this problem, we have come up with Tumani AI, which is a multi-platform system that combines drone aerial images as well as cell phone powered images using AI to both detect and locate where the diseases are. So the way Tumani works is that we use drones to scan areas and locate hotspots. And then once we do this, we use the app to take pictures and identify exactly what is going on. And then finally, all of this comes together in our website, which allows you to visualize and map where the different locations or hotspots actually are. So far, we have validated our system to be 4 times faster, provide a 4 times faster field surveillance, up to 95% accuracy in pest and plant health detection, and to help farmers save over 5,000 USD per hectare through early intervention. So who uses Tumaini? Tumaini has been mostly used since 2019 by researchers to collect geotag data, track disease pressure, and study outbreaks, extension workers to diagnose in-field and map disease hotspots, and also farmers who need to identify what diseases are going on specific plants. So far, Tumaini has had over 16,000 downloads. We have 1,300 registered users with about 600 users per month, and we are present in over 72 countries. An example of this is J.R. Raman, a banana farmer from India, who uses the Tamil version of the app every day. So why Tumaini? Tumaini is a research-based approach developed by some of the world's best plant pathologists. It is a multi-platform that integrates, and it's actually the only multi-platform in the market that integrates aerial data and ground-level data. It is robust, it works online and offline with all types of farmers, and it also can help you optimize your production process and scan your fields faster and help you reduce losses. And not only this, but it has also been developed with and validated through 18 partners worldwide, specifically the app, and now we're focusing more on the deployment of the drone side. So recently we started actually our first commercial pilot with Banalino, who is a organic banana association from Dominican Republic. And during this process, what we did was we went to the field and they already had drones. So we used the drones to collect information, aerial imagery, and also observe on foot different locations that could have potential diseases or stress infection, as well as train their technician to use their own tools and how to better collect data. Some of the interesting things we found, since we just did this about 4 or 5 days ago, was that we found that from the point we start flying and mapping all the information that is available up until when you can show it or visualize it on our online platform takes less than 2 hours. And at the same time, one of the issues that we found is that they struggled to identify from the drone images where specific plants are. So specific coconut plants, specific cacao plants. And this is something that we can help with. This is something we can build a model for. We are very good at detecting things from above. So right now, the idea is that we want to continue doing pilots. We want you to become an early adopter. And the idea is that for you to validate the value of drones and AI-powered disease detection on your own fields through our pilots. And the way that we do this is that we sort of have like a kickoff. So we agree on which areas we want to study. Then we collect the data, we analyze the data, and then we finally generate a report. This can be done throughout between 1 to 8 weeks. And the starting cost is just 5,000 USD. And who's going to do this? So as I mentioned earlier, we have some of the world's best scientists who are helping us. We have Dr. Michael, who's the project leader. I'm the main tech lead. Jorge, who is the program supervisor. Jason Castaño, who is our main AI engineer. And Dr. Guy and Jorge Vargas, who are banana scientists, who are very, very good at detecting and identifying and giving recommendations on how to treat your disease. So right now, that's why I want to invite you to come to Tumaini AI and secure your crop's future. Thank you.
Perfect. So this was the last team.
Okay. Hi everyone. My name is Juan Mora.
Of the second batch. So we are now ready.
Hi everyone. My name is Juan Mora.
To go for the Q&A. So I'm calling the jury members on stage again to go ahead. I see Jacob is ready. Go ahead.
Yes. I don't know if we can ask questions to Juan, but let me start with my farm trees. My question is, it seems too cheap to me. The price is very low. Can you explain why the price is so low? Thank you.
I'll try to be very short on that. First, the mobile applications are already online. Anybody can download them. What costs there is the technical support for onboarding and creating what we call the community channels, which is where projects manage their space in the server, and that's where that space is separated from others, and to host in the server as well. So that is relatively cheap, but it really depends on the number of users and the number of landscapes or projects that they have. So that's the starting price. But if people are thinking of users in levels of 500, 5,000, 50,000, then technical cost, which is what we need to cover, just increase as well. And also our technical support. Some of the main costs for my fees and support are also on the training and capacity development to show how to use the tools. And the most efficient way of doing so is with training of trainers on site, which are costly. So basically, that is the starting package. But depending on the support that the organizations need, then we need to calculate how to cover the cost for it, and then it can increase.
Thanks.
Yep. Jacob, you want to go ahead with another question?
No, that was my main question for now. Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe I
Great.
think others will have better questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, I see more hands raised. Yeah, Frida, you want to go ahead?
Yes, my question is for the Tumaini team. I believe someone else from the team is here to answer the questions.
Jorge is here.
I guess my question is where the team currently sees the biggest challenges for scaling right now as they're kind of moving from testing the technology to actually dealing with customers and the first commercial pilots, and whether you're looking for partners to support or fill any potential gaps there.
Jorge, over to you.
Yeah. Thank you, Frida, for the question. Well, the main concern that we see is the technology literacy in terms of the main customers. I mean, we have the free version that is the app that we have already released, but as we said, we have also the airborne solution, and then of course we have already the standard operating procedures to collect the images, but most of the time people can do mistakes in the data collection. So that's one of the biggest bottlenecks, mainly the retaking the images right now.
Thank you. Then we have Romano or whoever has a question for climate resilient platform, also Mandla.
Yeah, I had a question for CRP.
Okay.
You mentioned that your main sponsor right now is PepsiCo, and you're also connected to Bonsucro and Better Cotton. Are you seeing your go-to-market strategy being building on top of platforms like Bonsucro and BCCI, and then attracting global companies to buy your services? I'm just trying to understand how you are positioning yourself. Are you on the platform side, or are you going to be embedded in big food companies who procure sustainable ingredients? Thanks.
Hi, Manla. Thank you for your question. It's a good question, and we're still thinking about it. So, for now, we're having the climate resilient platform as an individual platform, but we also would like to be embedded in the companies, because our platform, the user, potential user, are sustainability team, procurement team, and sourcing team, and agronomists. So we would like to helping these people to answer the questions of where to invest, which region is actually at risk, and what adaptation should they invest in. So to be able to answer this question, they can or directly go into the platform, but if they would like to be embedded in their internal system, we are also thinking about how to implement that.
Thank you. Romano, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, maybe. I had two questions, but I can stick to one to respect the time. For Fidel, beyond carbon credits, where does revenue come from?
We don't really work with carbon credits. We support carbon credit companies and organizations, but the revenues can come from the sources of funding and the business models from any organization that works with forest landscape restoration. That means, for example, companies, organizations that work with agroforestry in coffee and cocoa, within carbon markets, with other nature-based solutions, with public and private sector governments, for example, in Kenya are using it. It can really come from different sources. It doesn't need to be in the carbon market. With the carbon market, we're aligning with mission-aligned companies and organizations, for example, the one mentioned in Tanzania. And so we have to be specific about which ones to work together with. But we come as a complementary approach for the carbon market instead of just being a carbon market methodology. And the carbon market, what is more valuable from our farm trees is that we provide solutions also for the rest of the seed systems, not only proving where the trees are growing, but also taking into account where seeds should be collected and where the nurseries are, which is often invisible and neglected in forest landscape restoration, including the carbon market.
Maybe if I can just follow up, but
Yeah,
are you
pick one
exposed?
from both sides, please.
Yes.
Yeah. Are you exposed to the carbon credit price anyway?
No, not directly.
Okay. Perfect. Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you very much to the juries and to the pitching team. We need to wrap it up to go to the third and last batch. So it's now time to hear from the last three innovations. First one, Hannah from Tatu. Anna, are you ready? I'm stopping sharing the screen so that you can go ahead. You are muted, so we don't hear you, but I see you're trying to speak. Hello. Yes.
Okay.
Ready to go. Connecting from Tanzania.
Connecting from Tanzania, yes.
Nice.
And
I love
let me
this
just open
international event. Take your time. Going full. Okay. You're in full presentation mode, so you can start.
Okay, fantastic. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Hannah, and today I'm going to be talking about our innovation, which is AI for the future of food security, technology that is built on local crops, local environments, and local voices. And this technology is developed by the Tatu team within the Alliance of Bioversity International and CIAT. Farmers in Africa today are left with seeds that are developed for climates that no longer exist. Climate change is outpacing the seed development. As a result of that, adoption of new seeds is terribly low, yields are stalling, but populations are still rising and are expected to rise, and more food needs to be produced soon. We are facing a true crisis. The solution is to accelerate the development of climate-resilient varieties that farmers can adopt and trust. And we at Tatu, we believe that the solution is in AI technology that is rooted in African realities. When we look at the seed development cycle, it takes up to 10 years to develop new seed varieties. Our technology is addressing the bottlenecks and the challenges at each stage of this process. At the demand stage, we are introducing market intelligence, bringing in deep insights from the consumers, qualitative insights at scale, something that was before not possible. At the development stage, at the breeding stations, we are introducing plant intelligence, using computer vision to provide more accurate and more efficient measurements on how plants are performing. And then at the validation stage, we are now enabling to take the varieties that we have developed and validate them with farmers from thousands of places instead of limiting it to few testing sites. So in essence, we have developed two applications that equip the seed development teams with better, richer, and more accurate data. On one hand, we have the app called CGIAR, which we use at the demand and at the validation stage. This app unlocks the voices of the women and the men farmers through AI-powered speech analysis. These hidden insights are giving us insights into farmer and consumer preferences at scale without losing the depth. And most importantly, we can collect the data from everywhere collected by youth. The other application is called ONA, which means to see in Swahili. This application comes at the breeding stage, at the development stage. It uses computer vision to provide precise measurements of plant performance. And with this technology, we can double the accuracy and the efficiency of data collection. These richer data sets lead to greater confidence in taking decisions and ultimately to faster advancement of the best performing seed candidates. So until today, we have already deployed both application solutions with public breeding teams in challenging high diversity environments. For CGIAR, we are developing the solutions currently for 6 African languages, which are targeting almost 450 million speakers in Africa. And in the process, we have already employed 78 youth. And this is something that we want to create in the future, a digital wallet for youth to enable them to collect the data from decentralized locations from anywhere where they are. On the other hand, ONA is a computer vision technology that has been trained on a large data set of 7.4 million images. This unique data set comes from 18 different crops and 17 different locations in Africa. It currently works for 3 traits for bush bean, deployed in 2 countries, and 8 new crops are in development. So the impact that we can have by deploying these technologies with the breeding programs, public breeding programs in the world, is that by developing deeper insights, by bringing in deeper insights from the consumers, we can actually develop varieties that are adapted to what the farmers really want, and in that way increase the adoption of new seed varieties by 20%. On the other hand, by collecting data that is more efficient and more accurate, we can decrease the breeding cycle by 3 years. All of this leads to production of more food that ultimately will lead to feeding around 100 million people per year. Behind our technology sits the Tatu team. We are a young team based in East Africa in Tanzania with boots on the ground. We are predominantly women-led, and we work with the top research organization in the world, such as Google Research in Africa, and the universities such as Colorado State University and London School of Economics. And lastly, proudly, we are part of the CGIAR network, the global network in agriculture and development. What we are seeking today is $30 million to deliver the food security for 800 million people. We want to do this over a period of 6 years, and during this time, we want to scale the technology to 1,000 breeding teams across 25 stable crops that support the food security in Africa. Our first milestone is $4 million to scale the technology with early adopters, and that is 150 teams. So we have the tools, we have the team, and we have the evidence. And I would like to use this opportunity to make it a call to join us in building the AI infrastructure for the future of food security. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anna. Great pitch, great call to action. Very excited. I'm gonna claim the screen again as I'm gonna share. The next presentation is also a recording from Scaling Resilient Finance, as the team is gonna be here for the Q&A, but the presentation is gonna be recorded. So there we go.
Hello everyone, my name is Carlos Navarro, and today I will present you our innovation called Scaling Resilient Finance, a climate-linked and credit risk tool for Guatemala's agricultural sector. Our solution helps financial institutions make better lending decisions while expanding access to finance for smallholder producers. Our innovation is a digital platform that enables microfinancial institutions to access loan risks using climate information. The tool strengthens portfolio resilience while improving access to credit for agricultural producers. This innovation has been developed by a team from the Alliance Bioversity International and CIAT. Climate risks, as you know, are becoming more frequent and more severe. However, most financial institutions still do not have systematically integrating climate information into their lending decision. In addition, many institutions face digitalization challenges or rely on user-unfriendly tools. For example, our assessment found that only 4 of the 18 financial institutions reviewed currently offer green financial products and are beginning to integrate climate risks into their portfolios. As you can see, there is an opportunity despite this challenge. There is a clear opportunity because at least 80% of producers expressed interest in investing in climate resilient practices. However, 97% had never heard about climate-linked credit. We also identify 18 financial institutions with potential interest in this type of solution. And finally, the market validation interviews confirming institutional demand for climate-smart lending tools. So to address this need, we developed a digital tool that combines climate information and producer data. First, producer information is collected, including location, production system, and credit history. Second, the tool evaluates climate exposure, including droughts, flood, and heat streets, and other climate variability extremes. Third, it generates a climate risk score together with recommendations to strengthen resilience. And finally, this information supports safer and more informed lending decisions. Our customers are microfinance institutions and fintech providers, while the final beneficiaries are smallholder agricultural producers. Our solution offers 4 key elements. First, it is the first climate-linked agricultural credit scoring tool developed in Guatemala. Second, it has been co-designed and validated with financial institutions and technology partners. And third, it integrates climate risks and producer resilience into lending decision. So it combines digital technology, technical assistance, and capacity building for financial institutions. We have already achieved results, very good results. 31 loan officers have been trained and are using the climate risk approach, and 17 climate resilience loans have been issued through a first pilot we did, and we established a formal partnership with Yapu, which is the fintech. We also facilitated a South-South exchange between Guatemala and Senegal to explore innovative climate finance solutions. Our sustainability model combines 3 streams. The first one is revenue sharing linked to climate-related loans facilitated through Yapu solutions. The second consists of technical services for financial institutions, including training, climate risk integration, and digitalization support. The third is strategic funding and partnership to support the scale-up. Our goal is to build a financial sustainable model that generates impact while strengthening climate resilient funds. We expect to generate 3 key impacts. The first is stronger financial institution with improved climate risk management. The second one is greater access to climate smart finance. And the third is more resilient agricultural producers, of course, with stronger livelihoods and adaptive capacity. Together, this impact creates value for financial institutions, producers, and rural community. Our scaling pathway is defined. Of course, we began by validating the pilot with Fundación Génesis Empresarial, which is our client. The next step is expanding implementation to additional departments and strengthening validation process. And then we plan to scale through one organization called Adigua, an NGO, and other additional financial institutions. Our goal is to reach more than 50 climate-linked loans by 2027 and contribute to reaching our 50,000 producers across Latin America by 2030. To achieve this vision, we are looking for 3 types of collaboration. First, strategic partnership with financial institutions and fintech companies interested in climate smart finance. Second, pilot opportunities in new value chains and territories, for example, in Central America and other countries in Latin America. And third, partners committed to climate resilient, digital finance, and rural development. We believe collaboration will be essential to scale this impact of this solution. And in summary, we have developed a digital tool that integrates climate information into lending decision. We already have initial validation with promissory results. We have established a strategic partnership, and we have a clear pathway to scale. We believe this innovation can strengthen the resilience of both financial institutions and agricultural producers. So thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to your question.
Perfect. So this was, we're almost there. We just missed one last team. So it's now time to hear from Sample Heart. So I'm inviting the team on stage. This was Scaling Resilient Finance, and then you're going to hear from the team directly during the Q&A.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, Pong,
Okay.
we can hear you. You
Okay,
can
great. Can you
start.
see my screen as well?
We are not.
Oh, no? Okay. Again.
Okay, now I see you're starting sharing.
Okay.
Put it full screen, and then we're good to go.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. So, hi everyone. Welcome. My name is Phương, and today I'm very excited to take you through our innovation, Sample Earth. So today, maps are increasingly needed for compliance monitorings, but different maps often produce different results for the same locations. So which map should we trust? This uncertainty creates 2 major risks. Firstly, decisions are made based on incorrect information. This is a compliance risk. And secondly, social risk, where wrongly classified farmer can be excluded from deforestation-free market, such as EUDR. So coffee and cocoa are among the crops regulated by the EUDR, which export to the EU was roughly 43 billion per year. The stakes are higher and higher, and agribusinesses now find themselves increasingly relying on map-based EUDR compliance solutions, which offer conflicting results and unverified accuracy claims. As such, map disagreements can affect compliance outcomes, market access, and farmer livelihood. the cost of uncertainties is higher than ever. And so Sample Earth was created to solve this uncertainty gap. So instead of creating another mapping solution, we create independent assessment of existing maps. We answer the question of how well does different map perform for a certain geography. By leveraging robust methodology for satellite image labeling, network of image interpreters, and standardized benchmarking protocol, we transform competing map claims into comparable evidence. We provide scientific-based map benchmark result, including accuracy score, independent ranking, and validation reports. So the Sample Earth team is built by a collective team with 55 years of experience in tropical land cover mapping, deforestation monitoring, and global partnership. With such experience and expertise, Sample Earth can become the trust layer for all map-based compliance solution by combining four core strengths: independent, neutral third-party validation, science-based expertise, local data network, and enabling continuous improvement for different maps. And the good news is we see that our market is already asking for such trusted validations. So through market outreach, we learned that companies and organizations across the supply chain are seeking independent benchmarking. Our early adopters include map makers such as Google, Satelligence, and organizations such as the World Cocoa Foundation. We receive funding from the public sector, such as the CIAT, and we are contributing to initiatives like the Forest Data Partnership. These early partnerships demonstrate growing demands for independent benchmarking. Our roadmaps start from benchmarking priorities, coffee and cocoa geography. And our next step is to expand the benchmark network to 26 top cocoa and coffee producing countries and expanding to additional commodities such as rubbers and palm oil. Our long-term goals is to become the top to-go benchmark standard that all supply chain stakeholders use to evaluate map performance. We provide benchmarking as a service tailored to your needs. First, training data for map improvement are made open source for non-commercial use. In addition, benchmarking service tailored to your geography and crops of interest is available starting from 70K per geography. So contact us if you are first map makers or compliance platform who want evidence of your map performance. Secondly, if you are agribusinesses or organizations who want to make informed decisions on which map to use, and partners interested in building a more transparent map ecosystem. Because ultimately, if maps are going to influence market access, then accuracy is not optional. Contact us to be included in our independent map ranking, now already published on sampleearth.org. Let's explore a benchmark project together and also a greener future together. So this brings me to the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening.
Amazing. Thank you very much. Thanks for this final pitch. You brought us to a great end. So last round of Q&A. So I'm calling the jury again on stage to go ahead with the last cycle of Q&A. Yeah, Romano.
Yeah, I would like to start from this last presentation. So since you are creating legal exposure for buyer relying on you under a number of European regulations, how do you intend to manage false positive rate in program? Thanks.
Thank you for your questions. So indeed, so first, like we are not another compliance solution or another maps, but we validate different maps, and we publish accuracy score of the different map that we validated and put it on like the ranking that I just show online. So we do see that false positive is a problem for many of these compliant maps, and that is the problem that we seek to address by evaluating the accuracy level and misclassification rate. We seek to improve and reduce this false positive occurrence across the sector.
Jakob, you want to go ahead?
Yeah.
Yes. My question is for the ex-Artemis Tattoo team. So maybe it's also good to explain the name change. I think you haven't done that, and it would be interesting. And also another question for Hannah is, do you think that breeding teams are ready to make this change? I mean, it's not just a change in technology, it's also a change in way of working. And maybe even more radically, are the current breeding teams in Africa the right target for this? Are they the ones that are really going to breed tomorrow's crops? Usually they're public institutes, underfunded. Do you really think they are going to be the future of breeding in Africa, given all these changes in gene editing and other parties moving into this space as well? What do you think?
Hi, Jakob. So to answer the first questions about the evolutions from Artemis to Tattoo, Artemis was the name of the project under which the ONA technology was developed, and that project is coming to an end. And we saw the need to come up with another name that is going to encompass not just ONA, but all the other innovations that our team in Arusha is developing. And we have come up with the Tattoo team. Tattoo means three in Swahili, and that represents many things. First of all, it represents the triangle of people, machines, and plants. We as a team, that is our advantage, our added value. The plants, the agriculture that we are working on, and the machines, that's the AI technology that we are developing. It also reflects, in terms of the solutions that I presented, the three aspects of the problem that we are solving: the market intelligence, the seed intelligence, and the farmer intelligence. And to address your second question about whether the public breeding teams are ready in Africa, well, I think that's exactly why we are in this space, because we want to develop the technology, a precision technology for the missing middle, for the breeding teams that are always overlooked, for the breeding teams that are underestimated, that they don't have the skills, they don't have the resources, but yet they are an integral part of the breeding processes. Public breeding teams are funded by the governments. The governments ultimately will be the ones who will be still controlling the breeding processes. And with the technology that we have specifically focused on developing solutions that are intuitive, that are simple, that don't require a lot of expertise, and that can be used by anyone and anywhere, even in environments which are challenging and which don't have the great connectivity.
Thank you, Anna, for the answer. Not sure if there's a quick follow-up or asking any other jury member to jump in for more questions.
Yeah, I had a question for the Resilient Finance team. First of all, congratulations for stepping into livestock, and because that's really underserved. The question I have for you is, I didn't see a connection you are making to the insurance industry, because I think that's a key component of Resilient Finance. What initiatives are you taking to connect with the insurance industry? And then for Simple Earth, what are you thinking about, creating repeat trade? Because if once you have, evaluated a set of maps and someone walks away, they won't come back. How are you working on keeping an active market available for your product?
Thank you, Mandla. We start with Carlos or Monica, who is in the room to address the question.
Thank you for your question. Sorry, I couldn't present my presentation live because I'm on the road to the airport. But yes, related to insurance, we focused on credit because we first did a market validation with key actors, including insurance companies, no? And based on the demand of the actors, especially livestock producers, we identified that credits are most popular or more demanded in Guatemala specifically, in this specific case. But anyway, we are looking at or expanding our solution. Of course, the solution is very flexible, including the credit scoring, the climate risk assessment. So it's very flexible to produce information that can be used or integrated into the insurance model. No, so we are looking for these opportunities. The microfinance institution, which was Genesis Empresarial, was also interested in credit, but they are also open to explore other types of financial instruments. No, we had a very good adoption from Fundación Genesis Empresarial. They still looking at us because they consider that CIAT, and based on all the work that we have this kind of expertise, no, on the assessment of climate risks, and this is precious for them, no. So anyway, it's a flexible model. So we are trying to look more than credits in the future. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carlos, for connecting. I know it's hectic. It's hectic. We close with Pung. If you wanna give your answer, yep.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Manla, for the questions. So your question is how to create repeated revenue, right? Yeah, so like actually in the benchmark, it is designed to be an annual update benchmark. Because the industry is changing, the technology is changing, the underlying training data is changing, the AI is changing. So the maps are indeed updating every year at least. So the benchmark to evaluate those maps also need to be updated yearly. Actually the cost of updating the data used for the validation from year 2 onward would be only about 10% of the initial cost of creating the initial validation data. The cost of validating in subsequent years is significantly lower compared to the initial year. And we expect that these map makers will need to come back to refresh and update their annual benchmark. So that will be a continuous service.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Pong. I'm gonna post the Q&A here, and thanks to all the pitching teams and to the jury members. If there's any other feedback or question you have for the teams, just feel free to write it down to the files and then send it to me, and I'm gonna deliver the message to whoever needs to have it delivered. So we came to an end of this pitching session. I want to thank all the teams, first of all, for your month of work. I think it's like this is the result of the hard work and the effort you have been putting there. I hope you are satisfied not only with your presentation, because this is only to showcase, but also to all the work you have put in the innovations. I want to thank all the attendees. We have eaten like at some point 97 people. So I'm very happy for all the attendees and the interaction also in the chat, and of course to the jury members for their questions. A last message to the innovations. This is the end of a program, but you know that A4IP, the Alliance, and CGIAR, we are still all here, and we'll keep supporting you as, first of all, as part of the RAMP alumni. So we are not gonna disappear, and the team is gonna be here to always try to create another connection or review things if you need. So please do count on us, and for everyone that is attending this event, also be in touch with our team. ramp@cgiar.org is our email. If you need or if you want to be connected with the teams, this is really the moment and the occasion to create these connections. So we are eager to do introductions. And please do follow our team we are on social media, we are on LinkedIn to be kept updated with other projects that are upcoming. Thanks from my side, but I want to pass it first to Stephanie Speck as the Global Director of Strategic Partnership, Engagement and Communication for some closing remarks. I know she was here, and
I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here, and everyone, I'll be very brief because it's been an incredibly rich 2 hours. I joined the Alliance 7 months ago, and I am blown away almost daily by the incredible work that we do or that we interact with. And again, after listening to the pitches and the descriptions of things, a huge thanks to the teams in the room. You've really made this intersection of science and impact and investment possibilities come together with real potential. Thank you. we really appreciate the hard work and effort that's gone into this. I want to acknowledge the RAMP team, who's largely part of the partnerships team. Thank you so much for seeing the possibilities, for chasing the money to make this vision come alive, and also for your dedication to this particular area, which is so critical for making sure that science just doesn't happen in a lab, but it moves into people's lives so that those lives improve. I want to finish with just one comment, because I'm here in London at the London Climate Action Week. It's been the most ironic week because many events have been cancelled. Many events on extreme heat have been cancelled because of the extreme heat. But one thing, and I've been to many of these events all over the world, and I was just talking with Marcella, who's our ADG for research. We were just saying we haven't been at anything like this before, where we've moved from a discussion around science as de-risking, even science as just bringing credibility, or science as solutions. What has been in focus here in London this week is science as investment. Science for not just human life, animal life, planetary life impact, but also economic impact. That is a totally new thing that has been on the table in so many discussions here, and it's a real opportunity for the Alliance. We wish you all the very best in pursuing the growth of the innovations that you've brought to the table, and I can't say in a stronger way that this is the time to bring those innovations to life. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are, and thanks for the opportunity to close. Bye.
Thank you very much, Stephanie, for your closing words. And then I'll pass it to Giampiero to have a final closing.
Thank you, Susanna, and thank you, Steph. As we come to an end of today's event, I would like to first congratulate all the teams that have participated in this first RAMP cohort. I know you've been basically our experiment. We've been testing on you this new model, so I'm very happy that you passed the test. So with this, presenting an innovation is never easy, and presenting it to external partners, investors, and industry representatives requires an even greater willingness to challenge assumptions and receive feedback and continuously improve. So that openness to learning is perhaps the most valuable outcome of this program. So over the past months, we have learned a great deal together, and now we have seen that successful innovation is not simply about developing better technologies. It is about understanding the real problems in the market, engaging users from the outset, building partnership, clients and industry players that can help you to test, validate, eventually re-engineer what you are working on. So ultimately, to ensure that innovation become sustainable and scalable. So at the institutional level, RAMP has also generated important lesson. It has shown that research organization could successfully integrate commercialization, technology transfer, and entrepreneurship into their innovation system without compromising scientific excellence or its mandate.
In fact, these dimensions, I believe, reinforce one another by increasing the likelihood that research delivers meaningful impact. So looking ahead and looking at the pace of change that we are now witnessing, I believe we are entering what many describe as the age of agentic intelligence, where autonomous AI systems are basically transforming how research is conducted, how discoveries are generated, and how innovations are brought to market. So these technologies, in general, solutions and how we are developing even hypotheses, it's totally changing, right? So these technologies are helping researchers, of course, synthesizing knowledge, and designing experiments or analyze complex data sets and generate code. These really help us identify promising innovation at the end of the day, and at the same time help us to better connect asymmetric distributed knowledge in an organization or at a global level, and this helps us to speed up the development process of any innovation. So this is also a message, that we learned on how, for instance, we should start looking into an element like this to speed up the development of our innovation. So for organizations like the Alliance of Bioversity International and CIAT and CGIAR, this represents an extraordinary opportunity, not to replace human expertise, but to amplify the work we are called to deliver. So if we combine world-class science with entrepreneurial thinking, and that's also one of the, let's say, core value that our new alliance strategy is being, selected as one of the value to we would like to embrace as an organization. Together with strategic partnership and the responsible use of AI and stronger connection with markets, I think we can dramatically shorten the journey from discovery to impact. Let's say sustainable impact. Right? It's not enough to just have an impact. How can we make sure that it's, as we said before, scalable, and viable? Now, ultimately, the future of the Alliance and CGIAR innovation will not be measured by the number of publications we produce, right? By the number of farmers reached, how the innovations will be actually be deployed at scale. So RAMP is only the beginning of the journey. We learned a lot, and of course, we will bring something new as the next cohort. And with this, I would like to thank you all once again for participating as a team in this program, for learning, but also for our mentors and our partners and all the institutions that have been part of this journey. So, of course, thank you goes to our senior management team that allow us to test and deploy this model, and to our donor. So again, congratulations to all our teams, and I look forward to seeing where your innovation will take us next. Goodbye.
Thank you, Giampiero, for this closing word. And thanks all for being here. We're closing this session, but I think this is really the proof that scientific excellence and entrepreneurship can go hand in hand. So thanks for being here, and have a nice day ahead.